Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel and to day 3 of Plansmas. Today I'm going to be planning from the 28th of November to the 4th of December in my medium passion planner. Let's get started! So the kit that I'm using this week is Creepmas from Plannerface, and it's this gorgeous Nightmare Before Christmas inspired art which fits perfectly with my Christmas tree, which is also Nightmare Before Christmas inspired. And I'm pairing that with a foil bundle from Tilly Journals, which is kind of like a hollow oil slick foil. I've really struggled to get it to show up on camera, but it looks really cute in real life. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me for a freebie. As usual, I'm starting with the pen base of my spread, so I've shaded in the parts of the timelines where I'm going to be asleep, and then I'm going in with my Grace Stabilo fine liner to mark in my alarm times and split my personal and work to do checklists in half so that I have a space for each day of the week. I've then used the fine liner side of my Blueberry Passion marker to mark in my work hours. Although this week is covering the end of November and the beginning of December, I'm not using my December theme colour just because this kit doesn't have any red in it and I really wanted to use this for my family Christmas week. I think I've become a little bit less structured when it comes to my theme colours for the month, just because I've started colour blocking a lot recently, and I've been a bit less worried about having a kit that covers both theme colours when I'm having one of these crossover weeks. I will keep my colour themes for next year though, just because it helps with a little bit of that decision paralysis when I can't decide what kits to use for a month. To finish off my pen base, I've added in all of my meals using my Pilot Friction pen, and then I've added in the days of the week into my to-do list using the fine liner side of that passion marker, which I'm now using the chisel tip side for to highlight over all of my meals, colour in the daily focus boxes of days where I'm not going to be at work, and also highlight over all of my checklists. And then we can get into some stickers. So as always, I'm starting with my meal plan tracker, which is just something that I make in Excel and print off on sticker paper myself. I'm then adding in the squared off half box from the kit with a bit of deco and a little foil functional into the weekly focus box, and finishing off my sidebar with my habit tracker for my daily check-in and a decorative box over the quote section with a foil overlay. Because a lot of the decorative boxes in this kit are quite dark, they do look a little bit frosted when I put the foil overlay over them, but now that they've had a bit of time to stick together properly over the course of the week, the colours from the full box are coming through a lot better. Next I can move on to my washi headers, so I've cut one of the 15mm strips from the kit and the twinkle in half to cover my Space for Infinite Possibility header and my personal and work to do list headers, and I'm just putting the overlay over the washi from the kit. And then I've cut a 6mm chunk from a second piece of washi but only from the kit, and I'm using that to create my extra gratitude header in the bottom left hand corner. I was a little bit worried that the pattern of the washi overlay would kind of hide the pattern on the washi, so I decided to have a naked bit of washi for my gratitude header. As I think I mentioned in my last video, I do try to avoid cutting overlays on my planner just because I'm not really used to the type of paper that they're printed on, but I have to when it comes to my washi headers. Thankfully I didn't go through my planner though. Next I'm going to add in the weekend banner from the twinkle over Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm going to mix it up a bit by adding in my decorative boxes before any of my plans for the week. So as always, I don't like putting too much work stuff in this planner, so I use some of the decorative boxes to fill in the space when I'm at work, and this cute double box scene from the kit worked perfectly for Monday and Tuesday. And it is pretty much how I wish my living room looked at the moment. I do have my tree up and everything, but I don't have that gorgeous fireplace to hang stockings off of. As I add in the decorative boxes, I'm adding in overlays, so I've got some corner overlays and also some full box overlays that I've trimmed down in the same way that I usually trim down my decorative boxes. The main reason that I've added in my decorative boxes before I started adding in any of my plans was because of what I'm doing with my decorative boxes on Sunday. So I don't normally put a decorative box on the weekend because I usually have quite a full weekend, but I wanted to use as many decorative boxes from this kit as possible. So I've cut a little piece of white sticker paper to use as a hinge, and I folded it down the middle, and then I'm sticking a decorative box up to that fold down the middle, and then putting another decorative box on the other side so that the bit of white sticker paper as my hinge is kind of stuck between those two decorative boxes. And sticking sticky things on sticky things is quite difficult. But now that they are stuck together and they are nicely lined up, I can just add some overlays onto the Fashion Girl box, and then I'm going to stick the little hinge onto Sunday so that it creates a little door where some of my plans for Sunday are hidden behind it. This is a great way to use up extra decorative boxes when you have a busy week, so you're not going to be able to fit too many of them in if you plan like I do. So that's the base of my spread all laid down. Now we can start with my plans for the week, and I didn't really have anything planned for Monday, so we're moving straight onto Tuesday, where I'm using a glitter header and a header overlay with a work from home script and Plannerface to mark that I was working from home. I'm then using a Pinky Stickers printable and a leg day script and Plannerface to mark in my first weight session of the week, and following that with a glitter header and header overlay because I knew I wouldn't be doing much after that weight session. On Tuesday evening, I was planning to go to a local shopping centre to do all of my Christmas shopping basically, because I'm seeing my family this weekend, so I needed to make sure I had everything ready. So I'm using a fancy label with a bit of foiled functional and a doodle from Plannerface to mark that in. Moving on to Wednesday, I'm using a skinny fancy label and a Joy of Planning Scientist Girl to mark in that I was duty scientist this day, and then I'm using a quarter box with the laptop doodle from the Twinkle to mark in my usual afternoon seminar. On Wednesday evening, I'd also managed to book onto the yoga class at the gym, so I think I've got the hang of getting onto that class now, and it's to book over a week in advance. Like, as soon as the class schedule is out, you book it. I can then move on to the second half of the week, so on Thursday I'm using another glitter header and overlay and work from home script and Plannerface to mark in that I was working from home, and then I'm using a little thing with the laptop doodle from the kit to mark in a one-to-one with my training officer. Thursday was the day of a lot of meetings, so I'm using a quarter box with the phone doodle from the kit to mark in another webinar that I had in the afternoon, and then finishing off my day of meetings with another little thing with the mouse doodle from the Twinkle to mark a training session that we had at the end of the day. For Thursday evening, I'm first marking in my weight session using another Pinky Stickers printable and pull day script from Plannerface, and then I'm marking in a reminder to take the recycling out with a script from the Twinkle and a recycling icon from Plannerface. As Thursday was the 1st of December, I'm using a foiled fancy label with a stick with the Planco Lottie from the Festive Favourites sticker sheet and a decorate tree script from Plannerface to mark in that it was time to put the Christmas decorations up. So now we can move on to Friday, where I'm first using a skinny event label and some deco from the kit to mark in a quality meeting that I had in the morning, and then I'm using a little thing with the stethoscope doodle from the Twinkle to mark in that I was duty scientist again this day. Friday evening was the first day of Plansmas, so I'm using a piece from one of the heart checklists that I've cut up to use as washi, with a YouTube button icon from Ickle & Co and an upload script from Plannerface. I can then move on to Saturday, where I'm using a half box from the kit with a foiled layering functional from the Twinkle and a weightlifting girl from Joy of Planning to mark in team training. It's the last team training before my competition, so we're just all going to max out. To take up a chunk of time where I'm driving to team training, I'm using another glitter header with a header overlay just to take up a bit of space, and then I'm going to use a quarter box with some deco from the kit and an edit script from Plannerface to mark in editing and recording this voiceover. As I've mentioned in a couple of previous voiceovers, this new system on Saturday mornings of like waking up and doing a voiceover and then doing my planning later in the day after training is actually really working for me. So I'm now marking in my planning time with a flag and the planner doodle from the kit and a planning time script from the Twinkle. Once I've worked out what side the deco needs to be on, I'm then using a square box with some deco and foiled functionals from the kit and the Twinkle to mark in whatever I get up to on Saturday, and then we can move on to my family Christmas day. So I'm starting off using an event label and a car doodle from Plannerface to mark in driving to visit my family. I'm going to keep opening and shutting that little door just to make sure that what is underneath it isn't sticking out from underneath and what is going around it isn't kind of getting in the way of it opening and shutting. I'm then using a square box from the Twinkle and a stick with the Planco girl cuddling a gingerbread man, I think, to mark in visiting my nan. And then I'm marking in my second video of Plansmas going live in the same way that I marked my first one on Friday. I did end up trimming a little bit off the side of that YouTube button icon just because it was stopping my little decorative box door from shutting properly. To finish up the space under the little door, I'm using a third box with some deco from the kit and a family time script from the Twinkle to mark in spending some time with my family. So my nan isn't the most mobile anymore, so we're going to spend a bit of time with her in the morning and then we're going to go and see my extended family in the afternoon. With my extended family, we're going to be having my first Christmas dinner of the year, so I'm using a half box from the Twinkle to mark that in, and it's showing up so bright under my studio lights, I don't know why. But I'm marking that in with another stick with the Planco girl, and then using another event label, again with a car doodle from Plannerface to mark in driving home afterwards. So that is all of my plans for the week. The last thing that I'm going to do is add in some of the half-cut glitter headers from the box add-on sheet that I have, just to fill in some of that space around my checklists, which I think I added in off camera because I forgot to do them while I was filming. So when I don't have the box add-on sheet, I would half cut the glitter headers that come in the standard mini kit myself, but because I have that box add-on sheet, I'm going to use the pre-half cut ones. And then that is all of my stickers down for the week, and we can go back in and fill in all of my plans as usual using my Pilot Friction pen. So this week has been another super busy one and I've still got the entire weekend to go, but thankfully I have Monday off next week, so I have a little bit more time to rest and recuperate after such a busy weekend. I definitely do not recommend leaving all of your Christmas shopping to the day where you're going to have to go and give your family the gifts that you've bought them, but after how horrendously busy and stressful November was for me, I'm just glad that I managed to get it all done in time. Work has been okay this week. It's kind of been vaguely back to normal and it wasn't too busy, although Thursday definitely had way too many meetings. And then the 2 weightlifting sessions that I've done so far this week haven't been the best, but not every session is going to be the best, so I'm trying not to kick myself about it, and I'm just looking forward to my training session today, which is where everyone doing the competition next week is going to max out and it's just going to be a really good vibe. I think I was perhaps just feeling a little bit run down throughout the course of this week because of having my COVID booster last week. Nothing too serious, I just felt a little bit like lethargic all week, and I could really tell that some of my weights that I should normally be fairly comfortable with were feeling a little bit heavy. I've definitely started to feel a little bit more in the Christmas spirit this week, especially now that our tree is up, and Reggie was very confused about what we were doing when we were decorating the tree and putting all of this shiny stuff up in the lounge that he's never seen before. So far he's been interested in the tree, especially when the lights are on, but he hasn't pulled it over at all, which I'm really grateful for because I bought new decorations for the tree this year for the first time in ages. I'm really trying to make this Christmas special because it's our first Christmas with Reggie, but also I don't want to overwhelm him because we're not sure he's ever had a Christmas before. We don't really know anything about him before he ended up in a shelter as a stray. He was invited to family Christmas on Sunday, but there'll be other dogs there which he won't get along with, and I think the number of people there might be a little bit too much for him. So him and my boyfriend are going to have a nice lazy day together. My focus for this week was that family Christmas day because it's the biggest thing that's happening this week. But that is it for my pre-planning. Let's have a little wiggle and then we can take a look at the finished spread. So here is the finished spread and I absolutely love how this one has turned out. This foil goes so well with this kit and I was super excited to use this art as soon as I saw it from Kit & Jess. There were loads of photos from this week, so I haven't got as much space for my reflection as I would normally, but I absolutely love having loads of photos in my planner as my memory keeping. If you don't want to see what is in today's envelope of my Plannerface advent box, then I suggest that you finish the video now and I will see you next time. So number 3 is a bit of a chunky one. I wonder what's in here. Let's open it up. Oh, it's a notepad! So it's like the Plannerface planning notepads where if you memory plan, you can just jot down everything. This is so cute. It's got a little habit tracker bit for your sidebar and then what kit you're using and everything, and there's so many sheets here. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time for another day of Plansmas. Bye!